knock. Hey, how you doing? Oh, you having trouble falling asleep? Well, maybe I could sit with you until you drift off to sleep, or I could even read you a bedtime story. I think there are a few floating around up in here. I used to stay up in this loft when I was a little kid. I think it's pretty comfy cozy up here, so I think we'll have no problem getting you off to bed. Perhaps your sister practicing the piano might help lull you to sleep. Let's see here. Oh, did you have a fun time swimming today? Jumping off the cliffs? The cliff rock jumping. You're pretty brave. I mean, I could only jump off the second level, but when you went to the top level, I thought, wow, what an adventurous spirit. So, maybe that's helped tire you out a little. Oh, and how much money have you made from your lemonade stand so far? Wow. Do you think you're gonna save it all, or do you think maybe you spent? Whatever you want to do, you earned it. Oh, and those cookies you baked, just delicious. I really think that they help those golfers get their birdies and their bogeys. Let's see. Maybe we could start with this classic Sleeping Beauty. Oh, I remember these. These are from the olden days. It's Banner Press. It's by Ruth Ainsworth. The Sleeping Beauty. So just get all comfy, cozy. You can close your eyes if you want. Just let the story take you away. Once upon a time, long ago, there lived a king and a queen. They loved each other dearly and would have been perfectly happy except for one thing. They had no child of their own. One day, the queen was walking beside a river, wishing that she had a baby in her arms, when a frog jumped out of the water onto the bank. "Your wish shall be granted," said the frog. "Before a year has gone by, you shall have a beautiful little daughter." The queen hurried into the castle to tell the king the good news. Sure enough, before the year had passed, a little girl was born. Everyone who saw her said they had never seen such a lovely child. The king was very proud of his daughter and planned to have a very grand christening party. Invitations were sent out far and wide to princes and princesses, and lords and ladies, and also to the wise fairies who lived in the kingdom. There were 13 wise fairies, but as there were only 12 golden plates in the castle, the king invited only 12 of them. This was not difficult, because the 13th fairy was very old and lived alone in a tower. No one had seen her for a long time, and some people even thought she might not still be alive. The party was very grand indeed, with delicious things to eat, and everyone in their best clothes. The fairies, as was the custom, each gave the baby princess a magic gift. One gave her the gift of beauty, another good temper, and another said she should sing like the nightingale, and another that she should dance as lightly as a leaf in the wind. Suddenly, when the 11th fairy had given her gift, the 13th fairy appeared, very angry that she had not received an invitation. She went up to the cradle where the baby lay, shaking her stick in fury, and cried out, When the princess is 15 years old, she shall prick her finger on a spindle, and she shall die. Then she turned away and stamped out of the castle, leaving the company struck dumb with horror. At once the 12th fairy came forward, bent over the cradle, and said, I cannot completely break the evil spell that has been cast, but I can change it a little. When the princess pricks her finger, she shall not die, but only fall into a deep sleep, which shall last for 100 years. The king ordered that every spindle in the kingdom should be destroyed, and soon there were few people left who remembered how to spin. The princess grew up with all the gifts that had been bestowed on her. She was beautiful and good. She sang like a nightingale and danced as lightly as a leaf in the wind. Everyone loved her. When her 15th birthday party came, the king and the queen had to leave the castle for a few hours on state business. And the princess was alone except for the servants. She wandered through the castle, looking at the pictures on the walls and the strange and valuable ornaments of china and silver and gold. She discovered a narrow passage she had never seen before. At the end was a dark, winding staircase. She climbed the stairs, brushing the cobwebs from her face, and at the top she came to a door which she opened. Inside was an old woman spinning. The princess was fascinated by the spinning spindle whirling around and round. What is that thing which turns round and round? She asked. It is a spindle, my dear, said the old woman. May I try to spin? Asked the princess. No sooner had she taken the spindle in her hand than she pricked her finger, and a drop of blood came. At once she was overcome by a deep sleep, and fell back upon a bed that was in the room. Everyone in the castle fell asleep too. The birds and animals were under the spell. The doves on the roof tucked their heads under their wings. The horses slept in their stalls. The cat slept beside the saucer of milk she had been lapping. The spell lay on them all. A thick, high hedge of briars sprang up all around the castle, growing taller and taller every year. The castle was completely hidden, all but the topmost tower, where the flag hung unmoving on the flagstaff. A story spread through the kingdom that inside the briar hedge was a castle, and that inside the castle a lovely maiden lay in an enchanted sleep. They called her the Sleeping Beauty. Princes and heroes from far and wide came to try to force their way through the tangle of prickly briars, but they all failed. They gave up the struggle with their clothes torn and their skin scratched and bleeding. 100 years passed, and a king's son from another country heard the tale of the Sleeping Beauty. He determined to try his luck and see if he could get through the thorns. As he drew near the hedge, it burst into 1,000 blooms, and a way opened in front of him, so he could easily pass through. The 100 years were up. He tiptoed through the great hall, seeing the king and the queen and the courtiers fast asleep, and he found his way up the winding stair. There was only the echo of his footsteps and the beating of his heart. To break the silence, as even the clocks had stopped ticking, the prince stood beside the bed, looking down at the Sleeping Beauty. Never had he seen anyone so lovely, and he stooped down and kissed her. At this moment the spell was broken. The princess awoke and smiled. Then the king and the queen woke, and the courtiers. The scullery boy quickly dodged the box on the ears that the cook was about to give him. Horses whinnied, dogs barked, doves took their heads. things and good. The cat finished her saucer of milk. The fire began to flicker in the grate. Soon afterwards, the prince and the Sleeping Beauty were married. Their wedding was very grand indeed, and they lived happily ever after. The end. The end of the Sleeping Beauty. And now are you, my Sleeping Beauty? Are you ready to drift off? Good. Because we have another big day tomorrow. We could go hit some golf balls. Or what else would you like to do? We could definitely ride some bikes around. If you want, we could go fishing. Whatever you desire. Or we could just stay up here. We can have a cuddle, have a little afternoon nap. We could even bake some more cookies and go out again and have another lemonade stand sale. Make some more money to buy treasures. Whatever you like. Just hope you're